passive compliance.
You need to break up with the word compliance because you don't know what the word compliance is.
It's when you comply with something.
You cannot use the word in a definition of a word.
I'm just passively complying.
No, again, that is just being passive aggressive. Hello, and welcome back to
What's the Safe Word?
I'm Amp.
I'm Mr. Christopher.
And today...
He's the asshole.
No, you're the asshole.
You're the asshole.
Today we are diving into all of your a-holes and answering a bunch of questions that the internet's put out there. Daddy, this is not our first time doing this.
I love this because I don't think we argue more on a show than this.
I disagree.
See?
But sometimes we do have a different perspective than the people on Reddit and even people in our comments. So today we are diving into Am I the A-hole stories on Reddit. And they are going to be kink, BDSM, or just sex positive in some way, or maybe sex negative depending on who the a-hole is. So without further ado, let's just get into it. I've got our handy dandy padded and daddy-proofed iPad here with all of our stories, and we are going to dive right in.
Okay, the number of people who said I look like a child with this in the last show.
It is a child safety.
I know,
yeah.
But
notice how there's no cracks on this screen.
it is dusty.
Well, it's dirty as fuck, but that's something I just have to live with because I live with you.
Fuck to it.
Oh, okay. Daddy, why don't you go ahead and read the first one here?
All right. Am I the asshole for wanting my boyfriend to dom me even though he says he is not a dom?
I'm a top. Another thing that we're gonna do today is kind of give our perspective before we even read the story. I like looking at the titles and see if we can surmise anything from that.
Let's find out. So me, female 21, and my situationship future boyfriend, NB19, are both versatile and into some slight power dynamics. We're not fully into BDSM, but we like some aspects of it. The thing is, I'm a bit of a brat. Okay.
No, geez, don't just stop us. No. Brats, get in the comments.
And whenever my bratty side shows up during our flirting, he kind of backs down instead of matching my teasing. Yeah. Tracks. He already told me that he doesn't know how to be a dom, and especially a brat tamer, and I've tried to tell him that it was okay because I didn't want them to feel bad, but deep down I'm kind of bummed because I'm a switch and I also need my sub-brat time. Am I a jerk for wanting him to learn how to dom me? Is that even something that can be taught? If so, please tell me to step by step how to do it.
I feel like slight asshole, but also it says that their boyfriend was younger than them by a few years, right? So you're asking this guy who is younger than you to take control when you appear to be a little bit more experienced, and it feels like there's two brats bratting a little bit towards each other.
You're talking about 2 years difference at the age of 21.
That's a huge difference at that young age. No, I'm speaking as a younger kinkster, you learn a lot in a very short time when you first get into the community, no?
Okay, I'll give you that. But this person has a lot of demands.
And a lot of expectations for someone.
High expectations.
So while it's not like egregious by any means, don't coerce your partners, especially if they're not as kinky as you. If you would like that, let them know, have that conversation, and then maybe like renegotiate boundaries or what kind of play you're getting into.
Yeah, they're not ready.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do with that. It was like the first time you tried a puppy in front of me and I didn't know what to do with the puppy.
Well, you threw me in a chicken coop and that was...
I'll teach you.
No, again, I'm not the one that needed the teaching experience. You needed the teaching experience. You're the asshole, and that's
Shove them into a brat cage and ignore them. That'll teach them.
What is a brat cage?
A cage with a brat in it.
Oh.
It's pretty standard.
Okay, so are we agreeing that like slightly the asshole on this one? Not
a little
egregious.
bit, not like terrible, but yeah, you're pushing something. You're trying to get a square peg in a round hole.
We all know what the square goes into.
A square hole.
And the triangle goes into?
A triangle hole.
That's right, a square hole.
Oh God,
Okay.
Just the title of this one, Daddy. You can have this one.
AITA for doing poppers without my husband's permission. Wait, you need permission to do poppers?
Not generally, and I'm gonna say you're usually not the asshole for doing poppers without your partner's permission, but let's hear why.
I'm a 26-year-old female, went out with my friends tonight. My husband, 27 male, wasn't there. We usually smoke weed and maybe have a few drinks when we hang out. We went to a bar and a friend of mine offered me poppers. I'd never done poppers and I've been curious about it, so I tried it. The effects lasted barely 5 minutes.
Wait, okay, wait, these are straight people doing poppers? That's fun. I love that.
I mean, that's fun. Why
Good
do you
for
need
them.
your husband's permission for that?
I bet you they're going to tell us.
All right. I told my husband through text, and his tone immediately changed to cold. I told him we'd talk in the car when he picked me up because I didn't want to entertain a text argument in front of my friends. But when we get in the car, I can tell he's already activated and upset. I didn't want to start a fight, so I tried to stay as calm as possible, but he was clearly mad. He told me he smoked a Black and Mild. What's a Black and Mild?
I think that's a cigarette.
Okay.
I think.
He promised me he'd never smoke again before we started dating almost 5 years ago because you can live your life and I'll live mine. He told me he thought poppers were gross and he's grossed out that I did them. He swears he told me before how it grosses him out even though I insisted I didn't know how much it bothered him. He's insisting that I'm being stubborn because I basically said I've always wanted to try poppers, so I did. He kept wanting to talk it out, but it's nearly 5 a.m. and I work tomorrow, so he angrily left the house. Am I the asshole?
Oh my God.
I don't think you're the asshole.
I mean, I've done poppers both on purpose and accident at the bar. Sometimes people just have poppers.
I mean, this is easy to get over. Just say, okay, I won't do it again.
Yeah.
If it upsets you so much.
Okay, so am I the asshole for doing poppers without my husband's permission? No.
No.
And I think you should respect your husband if he's like, I don't want us doing drugs or of any kind. But even then, I know plenty of people who don't consider poppers a drug because it's a, but.
And then the partner got retaliatory and smoked
a cigarette.
A Black and Tan? What was it?
Yeah, a cigarette.
Smoked a cigarette just to get back at you? That's a red flag.
I hate everything about this.
Yeah.
But the worst part is the Am I the Asshole user thread said that they were the asshole. And I
Really?
don't, yeah, it's marked asshole. And I
You
don't
try
know that
poppers one time and then you find out if you like them or not.
It's not like she started making out with someone. You know,
Exactly.
it's not like she started having sex in the bar. Sounds like he's being stubborn, yes. Honestly, all you have to do is apologize, and I don't think you're the asshole here. I think your boyfriend's being a little sex negative and kind of asshole-ish.
It's a misunderstanding. So it doesn't warrant this amount. 27, you said?
Yeah, 27 and 26.
that
Y'all are
tracks.
old enough to be able to communicate. But again, straight people, so we can agree not the asshole
Oh
on
my
this
God,
one.
we agree on 2.
That's...
What the hell? What's happening?
And honestly, if you and your partner are having some asshole problems, maybe you should
Check out today's sponsor, Helix Sleep, who knows that play, sleeping, and just being comfortable is very important, especially when you spend a third of your life in bed. One of our longest running sponsors, Helix is the one-stop shop for mattresses and bedding customized to fit your needs, and they find that perfect mattress for you using the Helix Sleep Quiz. Quiz you can take by yourself or with a partner, and it's going to get you the perfect mattress, starting with all your personal details, height, weight, what mattress you're looking for, as well as how you prefer to sleep in the bed, and the desired firmness. You can even include information like having aches and pains in the morning or if you're a sweaty boy. Based on our test results, we got a Helix Sunset, and we love our Helix mattresses,
which we've had for over 3 years now, and both of us independently have been sleeping like rocks. When I'm not sleeping in my bed, I do not sleep well. And when it comes to sex, Helix also does great there as well because
they are one of the most awarded mattress brands, but also did a Wesper sleep study showing that 82% of participants who switched to a Helix mattress saw an increase in their deep sleep cycle, participants averaging 25 more minutes of that deep sleep cycle per night and 39 more minutes of overall sleep per night.
The best part though is Helix Sleep delivers directly to your door with free shipping in the US, and it comes rolled up in a lovely little box. And when you open it, you get the patented daddy sound.
And if you're like me that gets a little nervous sometimes buying things online, you'll be very happy to hear that Helix has a 120-night sleep trial. Plus, every Helix mattress comes with a lifetime warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans. So don't wait, and if you'd like to get your own savings to cool off this summer and save some money, check out helixsleep.com/watt and get 20% off site-wide. But that's not all. Helix also has just launched a brand new Comfort Adjust cooling pillow, meaning you're going to sleep cool for the summer, you're going to upgrade your comfort, and my favorite part, not only is it recommended by chiropractors, it's going to reduce neck pain, enable deeper sleep, but it's going to provide personalized comfort that fits your size. So go check out helixsleep.com/watt for 20% off site-wide. Let them know that What's a Safeword sent you, and thank you again, Helix Sleep.
The next one starts out, am I the asshole for being too vanilla? Off the bat, no. No. I, 28-year-old female, am playing around with a guy who's not much older than me, but this is my first actual experience with the more intense side of the community. One of the things I've always been curious about is exploring CNC, which is...
consensual non-consent.
Like an example?
Holding someone down against their will, but it's not really against their will.
Ravishment play, maybe. This is not something that I would want a vanilla person to jump right into right away. But it goes on to say, he has respected most of the other limits I've set. Most?
How many limits do you have as a vanilla person?
Well, I know. One of the things he did last time was burning me with a lighter twice. Once on my chest and again on my ass. In the moment, I was okay with it, but now, a week later, the one on my ass is not even beginning to heal because I keep ripping the scab off my ass and I can't see
Well, stop doing that!
Well, I mean, it's on the butt though. The butt moves around a lot.
They said they're ripping it off.
You could easily rip it off with like underwear scraping it. I'm just giving them benefit of the doubt. Let me finish. Goes on to say, I expressed that I would like to keep things that leave scars and require prolonged wound care to a minimum. It's a bit difficult, both for physical reasons and because I have a history of SH, self-harm.
Oh.
His response was that he liked the way that they looked and he would try to keep it out of that spot. He told me that I need to remember that these brands represent that he owns me. I don't feel like he gets to make that decision, especially when he offers to no help with the wound care. The dick is good, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Okay, there are so many mixed messages going on here. First of all, they started saying they liked it in the moment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to give the partner like kind of a implied go-ahead.
So first of all, I want to talk about the CNC of it all.
Okay.
How would you negotiate CNC with a new
I
partner?
would say this is a fantasy I have that separates it from the reality to a fantasy.
Mhm.
I would love for you to pretend to be burning me, but don't do it. Don't really mark my
Oh,
shit.
okay. So you have limits
My
around
limits
like,
are marking.
marking. Oh, okay. So like
Yeah.
I can like whisper sweet nothings about how I'm leaving marks on you, but I'm not actually doing it, and that's fine.
That's not really sweet and that's not really nothing, but yes.
Brat. Brat. Okay, there are so many red flags here. First of all, are they the asshole? No, you're not the asshole for asking for boundaries to be respected. Your partner is the asshole here, I agree.
And I don't think you're too vanilla for having boundaries.
No, my biggest problem here is the number of red flags. First of all, most is not respecting boundaries. Boundaries are not a sometimes thing. It is a, you either follow them or you don't. Most is not good.
Especially in CNC play.
He crossed the line. You were kind of okay with it, it's fine. But now that you've quite literally said, I don't like this, here's the reason why, and they double down and say, well, it shows that I own you.
Yeah.
He does not own you.
That
No,
was
no.
the problem. Unless you've discussed that.
Yes, the fantasy of all that's great, but the reality is this man's not respecting your boundaries, and he's leaving marks that make you feel bad. I'm very much like this person. I do not like marks.
Oh,
If
I
someone
know.
leaves a mark,
I know.
I get a little bit like bent out of shape, but
Oh,
I'm
I
very clear about like, hey, no marks if we can help it. And that's my limit. But if someone stepped over that and then they're like, but it's because I own you. No. Running far away. Are you the asshole for being too vanilla? No, but you do need to get out of your box a little bit and understand what you're asking for.
You guys need to learn
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
This is what you need to
Yeah,
learn.
exactly.
Yeah.
See, we agree on things.
Yeah, yes.
Next story. This one's a little lengthy, so sit tight, plug up, and ask yourself, am I the asshole for asking my coworker to not talk about bondage in the office? That's the title.
Well, it depends on the office. It can be
Sure.
inappropriate talk in some offices.
I worked at kink.com and my partner started talking about bondage and I just think that, yeah.
I work
true.
at the Christian Coalition.
Yeah, if you're working at Hobby Lobby, maybe you don't bring it up. But also if you're working at Hobby Lobby, you are the asshole.
Yeah.
All right.
This story goes on to say, I feel like I'm losing my mind and could use some outside perspectives on this. I'm a 28-year-old female and I work at a small insurance agency that has 10 employees. We're an eclectic bunch, but we all do our best to get along and help one another when we can. One of our part-time receptionists, Susie, 56 female, has been acting oddly as of late, and it came to a head between her and I yesterday. Uh-oh, Susie. Susie recently got back from a trip in her hometown in NYC and seems to have brought a brand new, obnoxious personality back as a souvenir.
Uh-oh.
Judgmental mode?
Go on, Susie.
For the past 2 weeks, she has been oversharing about her divorce, menopause, hookups she had on a vacation, and her plans to become a stand-up comedian. Yesterday, she was yammering on... Okay, I think Susie sounds
Well,
fun.
yeah,
I
she's
like
a stand-up
Susie.
comedian. She's going to have some off-color jokes that she's going to try to bounce off of you.
I also want to note that this person is being very
Shamey.
degrading in their terminology.
Yeah.
Yammering on about her dating life while I was trying to work. When all of a sudden, she said, honestly, my dom Ernest is just a master with a flogger. My tone was definitely sharp when I spoke to her, but all I said was, Susie, that was very inappropriate. Please don't talk about that kind of stuff in the office. Since then, she has been very cold towards me and has done her best to avoid doing any of the admin tasks I send her. I received an email saying that she has requested a meeting between the two of us and our supervisor about my hostile behavior. Please understand, I'm not a prude, nor am I trying to shame her. I just don't think talking about BDSM in the workplace is appropriate. Am I the asshole?
This is very personality based. You sound like you already don't like the person, and we're probably the last people you should be asking this question because I don't find a problem with it. You don't find, this is very subjective to the people involved.
I think that it's very inappropriate of us to not look at the whole story and say, insurance office, 10 people, Susie's a bit older, she's a bit younger, it's a professional workplace. Don't bring up bondage in the professional insurance workplace, probably.
But, you know, there's so much mainstream media that accidentally look at that has bondage or so on and so forth. It's not like Susie was like, my dom tied me up and played with my she was actually kind of being just saying, my dom tied me up. It wasn't graphic.
Saying Ernest has a great hand for flogging.
Right.
Is not appropriate for a normal workplace. I don't think you're the asshole for asking your coworker to not talk about bondage. And I don't think it's inappropriate for you guys to have a conversation, but I also never believe someone on Reddit. I think that she probably said something a little more aggressive if someone's asking to talk about hostile behaviors.
This sounds like a Karen. So she's going to downplay what she did. And the problem with these AITA stories is you're only hearing one side of something, and every conflict has two sides.
Susan, if you'd like to come on the pod, let us know. We would love to hear your side of the story. Wait, did we agree again?
Susie's not the asshole.
Okay, we might slightly disagree on this one, technically, pedantically, but next story.
All right. My partner / Dom crossed a line in public. AITA for breaking it off?
Like which line? Like the line in the sand, a line for going, like crossing the street?
We're gonna need to read more to determine this. I was seeing someone for a few months and our relationship got kinky fast. Maybe in retrospect, too fast, or with too little discussions of boundaries. I called him daddy during sex scenes, and he liked to order me to call him that, but it was never said outside of the sex scenes. This relationship was the most honest I've ever been with myself about my submissiveness. And I really like the way he and I played together.
What character was that? What Fraggle-based BDSM character was that?
It's hard for me to be emotionally vulnerable with people, and he noticed this and mentioned that he wanted to know that side of me more. On Father's Day, I was having a really hard time because I'm still processing the death of my father and the ongoing deterioration of my stepdad's long story, who lives in another country. I met up with my dom partner for dinner, and when I told him I'm having a really hard time with my Father's Day, he told me, deadpan, at least you get to call me daddy.
Aww.
It made me feel like vomiting, and I broke it off with him. Oh, that's a little...
No.
Okay.
Finish it.
He has since said that he meant it as a joke to break the tension of our difficult conversation, but something about the comment made me feel sexualized at a time when I needed to be taken care of, and frankly, it grossed me out. Am I being unreasonable? I'll admit that I miss how it felt to be submissive to him. I'm pretty inexperienced in BDSM. Am I overreacting to the title because of the context? Yeah, you are. Sorry, especially if they apologized.
Yeah, so like in the moment when he said, at least you can call me daddy, that really warmed my heart. I was like, oh, that's the kinky way of showing compassion and love and emotion towards someone that you feel connected with.
And they were doing it to make you feel better, not to make you feel worse.
Yeah.
They were trying to lighten the moods. But I get it. When you're in a depression, someone telling you to feel better isn't going to make you feel better. So you were in a very low place and you overreacted to someone making a joke, a poorly timed joke.
But
that's all it was.
It made me feel like vomiting surprised me so much because for me, it sounds like there was so much care and love put in that comment. And I feel so bad for both of you because I feel like no one's the asshole here because you guys just need to renegotiate the terms of things and like come back to a center. Are they the asshole?
The partner is not the asshole. You should have accepted the apology. So yes, you're the asshole.
Oh, okay. I don't think anyone's the asshole here. I think your partner more than anything was trying to be affectionate. I disagree, and I think no one's the asshole here, and there's just a lot of emotions, but I hear what you're saying, and I can't wait to hear what the comments think about that take that you had.
I disagree. Okay, next one.
AITA, we are in a 24/7 DS dynamic, and I, the sub, forced a pause on the dynamic. I don't think that's asking for it. I don't know.
I just forced a pause on my DS dynamic because I have a hernia and I can't do anything.
Oh, and also there's different levels of DS dynamics too, I guess. Like, did they fully cut it off, or do you just need to stop playing for a bit because of health concerns, which is not, I mean, you are an asshole sometimes, but not because of that.
Wow. Hi all, I'm married to my Dom. We have been together 15 years since our first date. He is a wonderful man and our BDSM dynamic is fulfilling, consensual, and very fun. My issue is that last night I lost my temper and we had a non-BDSM, not really his fault related argument. He didn't really argue, I did. I have a very hot temper and I know I can't turn it off to be submissive and I don't want to damage that aspect of our relationship. I have told my husband I want to pause our dynamic. I have also been going against some of our rules since. Not out of spite, but probably bad coping mechanism, which is why they are the rules. I feel like a jerk and he is so respectful of my feelings and doesn't push me, but I feel like I am somehow abusive for turning off the sub switch. I feel like this may be akin to confiscating a collar as punishment. He is considerate of my feelings and has not made any motion to discuss admonish me in this. Has anyone in a 24/7 or married dynamic been through this? I know I will eventually be ready to restart it, but just not right now.
So, AITA for pausing the dynamic? No.
No, you're not an asshole for pausing the dynamic, but you admit to maybe being punitive in doing that. So you might be.
They know that they're the problem in this situation.
It sounds like the husband is being very compassionate about this, though, and not even thinking that it's an issue to pause. Having a married romantic relationship and a dom sub relationship with that same person, there's going to be a huge complexities.
Big, huge.
And there are going to be arguments and there are going to be times you need to stop the dom sub dynamic to get the marriage aspect back in line. So you're not an asshole for that, but the way you're doing it, maybe.
It comes across as very difficult to work with, partner, but it sounds like you have a lot going on. There might be some trauma. And I will say that the overlap of marriage and kink dynamics, yeah, there's a lot of overlap that does work, but sometimes you do need to pause them to fix one side before you can then plug those two back in. This is where like having a safe word in your normal everyday life is also something you can learn from your kink dynamics. Sometimes you just gotta put everything on pause, recenter, or even renegotiate and refine whatever it is that's wrong to fix, but you're not an asshole for pausing that and realizing there's an issue that you need to fix before you can get back into the kink. I think you guys will be just fine, but neither of you guys are the assholes here.
We agreed on this one. Yay!
Ooh, this is our very last one.
Last one. Okay, am I the asshole for using the photos I take as a fetish erotic photographer, not safe for work?
What are you using them for?
I mean, if you're using it for advertising, 100%.
If you're using it for blackmail, yes, you are the asshole. Well, let's hear the rest of this story. I feel bad already.
All right, here's the story. I'm a photographer. Most of my portfolio is weddings, portraitures, and things of that nature.
Asshole. Nope, you can stop right at the asshole. I'm kidding.
That's most photographers.
I'm kidding.
But a few years ago, a friend asked me to do a boudoir erotic photography for her, and I thought, why not? This friend is part of a community, FetLife. Here we go.
It's always the FetLife.
And if I do a good job, maybe she can refer me to some of her friends, so she's paying you an exposure. It turns out I did a great job, so much so that I shoot something like that once a week or so.
Wow.
Good. Things are pretty clear about consent, boundaries, etc. My wife's in the know. She's cool with it as long as it stays strictly professional, and it has. I have a profile on that website where I can post my portfolio. My release form states I can use them commercially and keep every single photo I take. A new client asked me last week what happens to the photos after I send them to her, and I told her outright, I keep them as it states in the release. I have everyone sign. She off the cuff asked me if I ever masturbate to the photos, and I wasn't going to lie, so I said, sure, sometimes.
Okay, wait, pause.
Wait, no, we're not done.
I know, but first of all, who asks that out of nowhere? Second of all, okay.
It's just photos. She wasn't happy about this, and we didn't end up doing the shoot.
I wouldn't have.
Why?
That's creepy.
Okay.
Continue. Finish the story before we get into it.
I never really thought about what others would think what I do privately, but I can kind of see her point of view. Maybe it's a little slimy, but it doesn't hurt anyone. It's literally just photos, and it's done in private. My wife doesn't care. I asked some other photographers, and they said people are sometimes even flattered if you do. I don't know. Am I the asshole?
Yeah?
No! What do you mean? What he does in the privacy of his home from photos he shoots?
Am I the asshole for using the photos I take as a fetish erotic photographer? I wouldn't want to work with someone personally who fully comes out and is like, oh yeah, I jerk off to the stuff I shoot all the time. That feels weird without that consent and that connection with someone.
No.
No.
So are you
Boundary
going to get
crossing.
mad about everyone else who's jacking off to them?
Different though. If I'm using, I don't know how the using, is he posting and talking about the photography he's done?
No, he's just privately masturbating to the pictures he's taken in his possession.
Pictures that he has, but does not have consent to be jerking off to.
Who gives you consent to jerk off? And what you see when you jerk off? Nobody.
You have access to something
Yeah.
that nobody else has access to because you have done a service. If you have been paid for that service, you should not be doing anything else with those things unless you have expressed and explicit permission to do so, is my personal take on that.
He's not taking the photos and exposing them to that, which is where I thought this was going. I thought it was like, can I post other people's pictures to show my portfolio? No, because you don't have that permission.
You don't have that permission to use it for your spank bank though either.
Just fucking lie. Just say no.
Regardless of
Easy
lying or not,
fix.
if you were to take some photos of people at like a convention or something, you're a photographer taking photos of people, whether you have been paid or not, that does not mean you then get to use it for your personal spank bank.
We don't know what people do in their private lives. You can't police it that far.
I don't, and I usually
He's
don't.
not doing anything illegal with them.
He
He's not
is-
selling them.
Sure.
He's not printing them anywhere else.
That's still a little off center, and I'm still gonna say you're kind of an asshole for
No.
that. Y'all, this is where we get into it. This is where we get into it. Ethically, I don't think it's nice. Morally and ethically, that is weird and gross, personally.
Then don't take nude photos of yourself. If you take nude photos of yourself, somebody's going to see them, especially the photographer. They no longer are working together. Problem solved.
But this person's still working.
I don't think that makes him an asshole.
I do.
Okay.
Because they're going outside of the agreed
We
upon.
disagree.
That's fine. And we would love to know what you guys think. Is Daddy the asshole? Am I the asshole? Are they the assholes? This is where you guys join the conversation in the comments down below. We're very curious what you think. If there's a story here that you disagree with, in the comments, put like on insert kink story, I think this, or I disagree with that. Honestly, some of your comments sometimes make me feel and change my perspective on how some of these stories as well.
Do you think anyone ever like jacks off to our videos? And did we give them consent for that?
Well, they didn't film these, and it's not a private video. It's something we posted, which is a different, and that's why it's different. Do you understand that?
No.
Me posting something and putting it out there then allows other people to experience it.
No, I was just curious. Do you think people spank bank to our material?
Regardless of spank banking or not, always have a safe word. And today's safe word is
Spank bank!
because you do not have permission to spank bank to the private things that are on my phone. Regardless, we do want to know what you guys think. If there are any stories you disagreed with or maybe perspectives on some of the stories you think we missed, I would love to see some of those in the comments down below.
And make sure you agree with me and ring that bell down below.
First part of that was unnecessary. Regardless though, don't forget to subscribe so we see y'all next time on What's a Safe Word. Bye! And hey, welcome to the end card. If you have any sex ed stories, maybe am I the asshole moments, sex ed queries, we have a brand new link in the description down below where you can leave an audio file for a future episode where we are gonna listen to your stories, your commentary, any sex ed feedback you need, and we're gonna respond to them. So if you guys would like to
that's
talk to us, if you'd like to actually talk to us, there's a form down below. We don't keep any of your private information, just whatever you leave in the audio form. So
And I promise I won't spank bank to him.
there's also not a legal stipulation there that says that we would or would not. Do not leave any personal private information, please.
So we're not the assholes.